about this. I look like a temporary employee with my name written on my name tag. This video is going to be why the bike industry isn't going to end in 2023. So, I opened my shop in October of 2020, which was arguably the most interesting time in recent history to try and open a bike shop. At the time we opened, I got told there was no inventory, things were sparse, it was really hard to get anything. Yeah, it was tricky. It was tricky. I managed to be glued to my online portals like a hawk and managed to find inventory that way, just literally scrolling different suppliers. There was a point where I couldn't find guide brake pads, like just your standard guide 4-piston brake pad, and I found 24 sets in a warehouse in California. And as a result of that, I think I was probably one of the only shops with those brake pads sitting on the shelf and selling them over the counter. It required some resourcefulness. Things are starting to flip a little bit now. Things are starting to get available. You can scroll through YouTube. I've found a few videos of people screaming and throwing their arms in the air. Everybody's overstocked. The world's ending. There's no hope in hell that this stuff's going to sell. The world's not going to end. The industry's not going to end. And for a few reasons, but for the most part, you're still going to ride your bike. And that's all it takes. If you're still going to ride your bike, my service department's still going to be busy, so is your local bike shop. If you're still going to ride your bike, you're still going to break and need parts. Now, where the problem lies at the moment is in those times where I couldn't get inventory, I and everyone else would jump into their online portal, email their rep, do whatever they needed to do, and put products on back order. And for myself, for a long time, I developed this consistency of once every couple months, I'd log in and order another 5 or 6 GX Eagle cassettes and another 5 or 6 of these or 2 or 3 of these parts. And then they started kind of trickling in. That worked for me until about this last, it was probably July or August, when all of a sudden GX Axis kits are the perfect example of what happened. I got none. For about a year and a half. They announced it. First thing I did when I found out it was a product, went in, ordered 10. Got none, got none, got none. Went, okay, I'll order another couple. Got a few, sold right away. Got none, got none, got none. Started to realize like, okay, I'm gonna slow this down a little bit. Peeled back my order. And what I expected to show up offset every couple months, I expected to see a few show up, or every 4 months or 5 months, I was kind of hoping to see a couple show up. My rep called me and said, hey Brian, I got like 20 GX Axis kits available right now. Do you want them? And part of me went, I've got a laundry list of people on my computer who want that product. Maybe I should just take them all and sell them. And for whatever reason, for the first time in the history of the shop, I said, no, just ship me 2. 2's a good number. I'll just take a couple. Started working my way down the list of people that needed them or wanted them at one point. Some had found it. Some said, no, I'm not that interested anymore, and sold a few along the way as well. When you look at what the price has been on those GX Axis upgrade kits for the last 6 months, it's been very much what we pay as a bike shop or less, or maybe even a tiny bit above. That right there is the concern that I think myself and a lot of people have for next year, where people are going to overorder and need a way to move that product. So what I'm going to talk about today is why I'm pretty comfortable with where my shop's at as far as inventory goes and levels go, and why I think everything is going to be quite all right in 2023. So I drew up a really, really nice whiteboard here. This is it. This is kind of like, you know, during COVID, there was nothing being manufactured, nothing shipping, there was nothing in your distribution warehouses. You're ordering brake pads from California that should be able to get from Vancouver, no problem. And your local bike shop, for the most part, also had very little or nothing to offer you. All of a sudden, this fired back up, not just for the bike industry, but for everything, and pushed this huge load of product to shipping and distribution. Now, you might all remember like hearing about LA and seeing pictures and videos of all these shipping containers torn apart and rummaged through. It just created this huge backlog. One of my suppliers, Niner, at one point had a shipping container sit there. I think it was 14 or 16 weeks before they got it through customs and actually into their warehouse. Nuts. Now, if somebody from Niner is watching this and that information's wrong, it's okay. My rep just told me something different by a few weeks, I'm sure. Probably lessen the pain of my bikes being delayed. So this product finally made it here. And now these guys have done a really, really good job at pre-selling to your local bike shop, which is where when you walk into some bike shops right now, you can barely move. They've taken huge amounts of product, and some people are in the position to be able to do that, and some, such as myself, are not in the position to take on $500,000 or $1 million worth of inventory at a time. So the trick for me is to take on enough inventory that when you walk in my door, I have what you need to repair your bike and get you going, but not so much that I take on 20 GX AXS kits just before they're on sale everywhere in the entire world for the next 6 months. This really puts me in a bit of a weird relationship with my distributors where I'm canceling orders left, right, and center. And from talking to them, I'm not the only one. That sucks. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't think I have a distributor with less money in the bank than I have. So hopefully that's true, because if not, we're going to have a serious problem with this. But ultimately the goal for me and the bike shop I live in is to, and this is going to tell you guys a little bit, and I'm not going to tell you more than this about running a business, but to sit on 6 to 8 months worth of cash at all times, and to sit on 3, is that upside down? That's backwards.
Upside down and backwards.
It's only upside down and backwards if you look at it the wrong way. And to sit on 3 to 4, really that could be even 2 months worth of inventory at a time. Some products sell faster, some sell less. The old 80-20 rule is very much true in my shop, where 80% of our sales come from 20, 25, maybe 30% of our SKUs, but you still need those other 70%. You can't not stock kids' tires or kids' bikes, or you can't not stock, well, I guess you could. There's shops out there that don't. I'm not that person. So the issue is going to be, this is where my opinion comes in, is if I do my business planning properly and somebody else doesn't, and all of a sudden their brand new 2023 bikes are on sale in March because they over-ordered, took too many, didn't know what to do. And I do think demand is going to be flat or down a little bit year over year from next year, but still growth over what we had in 2019. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I think as long as you ride your bike and your shop does a good job at keeping you rolling and things start to move, everything's going to be fine. I'm not all that worried. My biggest concern is that at some point, maybe not even just your local bike shop, but maybe what happens sometimes is these people produce too much and need to offload it, or there's a third variable here. These e-com, I'm writing upside down. I'm like a car salesman. These guys take on too much inventory and need to offload it, and then we're in the race to the bottom. I know there's some other businesses out there right now, like some other bike shops. I've definitely been getting phone calls from realtors that are looking to offload shops for the value of the inventory for 80 cents on the dollar or 90 cents on the dollar. And I don't think we're through the worst of this yet. So I think it'll get interesting a little bit. But as long as you ride your bike and your local bike shop's got things pretty well managed on their end and has good relationships with their vendors and knows when to cancel products and knows what to take on and not take on and knows how to sweet talk their inside sales rep at their local whatever supplier, whatever distributor, they should be doing okay too, as long as you go ride your bike. And hopefully as a bike shop, we can go back to doing things that we should do. And for our shop, one of the things we wanted to do that we've never been able to facilitate was group rides. Part of that was actually insurance. Insurance would not cover us to leave the front door and go attend events, run events, do group rides. Oh! Yeah, so I had to switch my insurance provider, which cost a fair bit more than my old one. But now we're at the point where we can go do group rides and not have to worry about if you hurt yourself on our group ride, does our insurance cover us or not? So hopefully next year, your bike shop can go back to being your bike shop and not feeling like you've just walked into the circus and need a tube and they don't have a tube, or need some sealant and they don't have sealant. Hopefully that's it. Hopefully 2023 brings a year back where, you know, your bike shop starts to feel a little bit more like a community again and starts to feel a little bit more homey again and not so frantic and not so panicked, and your bike mechanics and owners don't look so exhausted all the time. That's really the end game. Hopefully for us, we just want to find that comfortable, you know, Ride NF actually, who we sell, has a really good job and I forget what it says on their website, but it's something to the tune of big enough to be sustainable, but not perpetual growth. That would be awesome. Big enough that I could take off for a couple weeks and trust my staff to run the show and pay everyone well and take care of the community we need to take care of without pushing this forever growth mindset that capitalism seems to love and adore. Anyway, 2023, parts available, bike shop you should be able to walk into and have a happy relationship and a longer conversation with in 5 minutes and ask questions to. Should be able to answer you. If you need a bike, as long as you're flexible on color and choice, and things are starting to pop back in. As far as the entry level stuff, like it's coming full circle. Some bikes will still be hard to get, but it'll start to feel more like normal again, which will be really, really nice. So where to put my beer? There we go. To 2023. Hopefully I'm not wrong.
Party at the Goat House!
Hit the like and subscribe.
Oh yes, like and subscribe button. Smash, smash, smash.